Today, the world feels like a chessboard where too many games are being played at once, and none of them can truly be isolated from the others. From the steppes of Eastern Europe to the deserts of the Middle East, from fragile democracies in Africa to courtrooms deciding the fate of families thousands of miles away, the global agenda is being shaped by conflict, power, and consequence. What we are witnessing is not a collection of disconnected headlines, but a single evolving narrative about how order is being tested in the 21st century. The war between Russia and Ukraine remains the central fault line in global security. Moscow speaks the language of territorial gains and battlefield momentum, while Kiev answers with long-range strikes and relentless diplomacy aimed at keeping Western support firmly in place. What matters here is not just who controls which village today, but the precedent being set. This conflict has normalized a long war on European soil, redefined military supply chains, and forced governments to accept that economic resilience is now a strategic weapon. The European Union's decision to commit to large, interest-free financial support for Ukraine over the coming years reflects this shift. Aid is no longer framed as charity or solidarity alone, but as an investment in continental stability. At the same time, Sudan is collapsing in a way that feels tragically familiar yet deeply alarming. Reports of mass abuses and humanitarian catastrophe are not simply footnotes in international coverage, they are warnings. Sudan sits at the crossroads of Africa and the Middle East, and its implosion risks destabilizing an already fragile region. Violence there is a reminder that while the world focuses on headline wars, quieter crises continue to erode trust in global institutions and humanitarian norms. When states fail, the ripple effects do not respect borders. Beyond these conflicts, the so-called war on terror has taken on a renewed, sharper edge. Recent large-scale U.S. airstrikes against ISIS targets in Syria, following the killing of American personnel, signal that Washington is unwilling to let deterrence erode completely. Yet this is a delicate balancing act. Every strike may weaken terrorist networks, but it also reinforces the reality that parts of the Middle East remain trapped in cycles of intervention and retaliation. Stability in this context is not about decisive victories, but about managing persistent threats without igniting wider wars. Nowhere is that risk more evident than in the broader Middle East. Years of confrontation involving Israel, Iran, and a web of regional proxies have left the area permanently close to escalation. Even when fronts grow quieter, the tension does not disappear, it merely accumulates. Legal battles, sanctions debates, and accusations tied to Gaza and the West Bank are not procedural details. They shape how international law is perceived and whether it is seen as a universal framework or a selectively applied tool of power. Meanwhile, Gulf states are redefining their role in this volatile environment. Countries like Qatar and Saudi Arabia are deepening security and technology ties with the United States, while simultaneously expanding their own economic and diplomatic influence. This dual strategy reflects a new confidence. These states are